ਪੀਲੇ ਰੰਗ ਦੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਏ ਚਲਾਵੇ slowly.
What's up, guys? This is King Forex again. I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel, and today, without wasting much time, I want to give you a very simple strategy to predict spikes. First, before we proceed, if today is your first time of entering my channel, make sure you subscribe to my channel and make sure you don't miss my videos, okay? Alright, before I also proceed, I want to make just a few comments. I want to sincerely appreciate those who have been calling and texting me about my previous strategies I've been sending, and I want to appreciate your love and your good comments. It's very good motivation for me to keep going. So, and I don't want you to miss my videos, because definitely I have a lot of stock for you guys, okay? I have a lot of good tools for you guys, and to it to be very progressive. And for those that have been using my strategies, I'll be uploading on my status, and it's quite working, okay? All right, let's move straight to today's business. What we'll be discussing today majorly is a simple strategy to predict spikes. Okay, if you are new to my channel, you can as well visit my other videos to watch my videos and apply them and see if it works. Okay, so this is just a simple video on spike predicting, and if you apply it correctly, definitely you'll be profitable, definitely. Okay, all right, first what we just need to add here is just a simple indicator. So if you're an iPhone user, okay, you tap on the screen, then you go to indicators, main window, then you look for relative strength index, that is RSI, okay, relative strength index. So you click on that. So the period, just make it 13, okay? The period should be 13. Apply to close, okay? Then the levels, okay, let me just clear this so I can do it from the scratch so you can understand. Okay, sorry, let me just delete this indicator here. Okay, relative strength index, RSI. Okay, so I'm trying to delete this. Okay, let me just, okay, because most persons might not really understand. Let me just delete this. Sorry, please, I'm wasting your time. Let me just delete it on time. Okay, if you're just adding this indicator for the very first time, you see add level, okay? So in the left hand side you see description, then the right hand side you see the figures, like the numbers you have to add. So you just try and add 5 levels, okay? The very first one you put is extreme sell. Then in the figure you make it 90. Then put on sell, then you click on, actually this one choose 70, then you click on that one, breakout, okay, you put 50, then this one click on buy, then you click on, you choose 30, sorry, then this one is extreme buy, okay, This one is 10. Okay, the style, tell the color, you can change to 4 pixel to make it the line thicker. Then you can probably use yellow or red color. For me, I'll use red color. Then click on done. Okay, or set like this. Okay, all right, so it's very simple and it works. So only if you can really apply what you call risk management. Okay, so it works. So how do you use this setup to catch spikes? How do you use this to catch spikes? It's very simple. Most persons might have come across this before, but there's a little way. Like, I just add some stuff to it that it will make it to be very effective for you. So let me just start from how you can use to predict spikes. The very first thing you look after is when this RSI, I'm talking about this RSI here. Let me use I'm talking of this interface here. Okay, this interface here. So when let's take crash as a case study. Okay, let's take crash as a case study. You start aiming for spikes when your RSI is at this 70. Okay, at this 70 you start aiming for spikes, but in this extent you shouldn't use much lot size. Like, your risk management should be applied here. Then when you can see, as you can see, I was just explaining here, it just happened. You can see that it just happened here. It's spike just is, you see, as you can see, it just happened here. So you have to use M5 time frame. It works perfectly for M5 time frame. You see that as I was trying to explain, it just happened. A spike just occurred. Okay, so you start aiming for spike when this line get to this 70 benchmark. You start aiming for spike, and in not all cases it might get to this 90, but your stop loss in this 70 is about 2 to 3 candles on the M5 time frame. Then you close your loss and you enter in this extremely 90. In this aspect, you have to double your risk. Okay, so when you get to this 90, you have to double your risk, because in this, as regard this place now, there are high possibility that the spike is going to occur. All right, but for the sake of being smart, okay, like I used to say, if I forex trader, you are trying to be smart here. Okay, you and the broker is trying to play a very smart game here. So in most cases, just stick to your 70. Okay, so once this spike gets to 70, you start aiming for spike. As you can see, this is one opportunity and another opportunity. Okay, let's check out for other places. Like in this aspect, this was a perfect entry. You can see here, from here, when you get to this 70 on dots, I mean here, you can see what you got. These spikes, you can see. So your stop loss most times, if I want to advise, is this 50. Most times when spikes start occurring, you can just wait for like few candles. Then when you get to this 50, you wait to observe, because most times it can break out to this 30 or so. Okay, so let's check out on the opportunity again that occurred. You can see here, when you get to this 70, a spike occurred. So this is also a very nice opportunity, even though after a small spike occurred, it keep going. Like I told you, your stop loss is what? 2 candles you close, no matter what happens, because even though after you close you see on that spike, just be smart. Then this, if you check this aspect, when it's actually past, when it was this 70, it spikes. Don't forget, this is 5-minute time frame, and you can see that this small spike alone with just a nice lot size can give you a very nice profit. Okay, then again it started going, and when you get to this aspect, it did not spike. You see that it when it's about to get to 19, our advice, when you're about entering this 19, you should be ready to take maximum risk. Like, take a reasonable risk that is very extreme, because when it's approaching this 90, the high tendency that is going to spike, very very high tendency, okay, that the spike is going to occur. Okay, so when you're heading to this 19, you take a very reasonable risk. Okay, so let's check on that aspect again. Let's check here. So I think it's a very nice, you can see there was a buy. When you get to this benchmark 70, a little buy, then there was a spike. You can see on that spike again, you can see, if you hold this spike to this, then I said, when you get to this 50, there's always a breakout. You check, you try to confirm, okay, before you start getting to proceed downward. So that's how it works, very simple as that. So even here, like I told you, if you observe here, about, I said, few minutes, like, sorry, 2 to 3 candles. If you observe here, after 2 to 2 candles, it actually spikes. Then you wait for on that spike again, then you wait for it to break this 50. So our advice, most times, take your profit from this 50. Take your profit from this 50, okay, to avoid story that touches. Okay, all right, same thing applies to here. You can see here, 1, 2, 3. So this works perfectly. A very simple strategy to produce spikes. Very simple, very very simple. Let's check out for Boom. Let's check out for Boom, please. In Boom, in this aspect, in Boom, what you are looking after is what is 30 and 10. Okay, if you observe here, it was very close to that 30, but it's not a perfect entry, so there's always a nice entry. Let's look for where we have, yeah, you can see here this 90. When you get to this 90, which is extreme, so it spikes. And even this here, this 30 here, about 3 candles after it passed, it spikes, and it break out this 50 T sell. Okay, so that's a very nice opportunity. Check here as well. Sorry, I have a running nose, like I'm having catarrh. Sorry for that. So if you observe this this place, you observe that this spike occurred when it's about few pips after this 13. Okay, and it was very nice profit there, and same thing applies to this. Okay, so you can see that it works. So what I would just advise you to do is to stick to the plan. All strategy works, okay? All tools your mentor or your trainee or anybody that gives you works, just for you to be smart in it, okay? Just for you to be very smart in it, for you to really see that if it works or not. So don't miss my videos, because I'll keep uploading new videos on new strategies and new tools. I still want to give you guys how to draw a perfect trend line strategy. There are many videos I have for you guys, many tools. I'm sure that if you keep checking my channel, your trading lifestyle definitely is going to improve. All right. So, but there are exceptions that I would advise you should not take any of this trade, which it will be using using the trend of the market to determine the trend. This is Boom 500. Okay, of course you should not take this trade when it's on a downtrend. Okay, so if you want to actually understand trend of markets, you can go through my previous video where I explain deeply on how you can determine trend partially, both on crash and boom. So same thing applies to crash. You should not take the trade when crash is on uptrend. You shouldn't, right? So you can also go through my S videos to check it out. So like this video and comment if it works or not, and make sure you share to your friends, and make sure you get alerted for my next video. All right, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.